Okay, I think that we are live here for today's Tech Talk. I am, all right, so we should be live, and everyone who's listening, welcome. My name is Jackie, and I am the tech librarian at Heights Libraries, and today we are going to be talking about the topic staying safe online, which is an important topic, and I'm glad that I'm able to bring this to you today because it's something that affects all of our lives at this point is staying safe online and knowing ways to protect yourself from scams and, just, making your information vulnerable. I know I've talked to many customers who are having issues with just, identity theft and things like that. So that is what we'll be talking about here today. And once again, my name is Jackie, and I'm the tech librarian at Heights. So I think we will get started here, since we have been going for about a minute. So I will go to the next slide here. And this basically, we're comparing the internet to the Wild West, which I don't think is really much of a stretch, because the internet is a powerful force in our lives. We end up doing, whether we like to or not, most things in our lives these days we are doing through the internet. Communication, through email, paying bills, using social media to connect with people. Most of us are online quite a bit. And the thing about the internet is it's really not regulated by government or other, entities. So one thing that I think that people maybe forget a little bit is that the internet is a public place. So, kind of like the Wild West, there's not a lot of rules, but it is a public place. So, just like maybe a park, you will find friendly people and people with good intentions, and then you also have to be careful because there may be people without good intentions or people that are trying to um, have gain information from you or, scam you or things like that. So that's just an idea here to think of the internet as, a place without much regulation and also a public place. So these are just a few topics we'll be talking about today. And don't let this list overwhelm you, because it shouldn't. I always say to people that thinking about your presence online and safety online, it can feel a bit overwhelming. You may think, oh my goodness, I have the same password for everything and I really haven't thought about online safety, and this is just a mess, I can never fix it. But think of this as small steps. So even if you could just take like one action or one small step to increase your online security, that's great. That could be even changing one or two passwords so they are unique passwords and not the same as other logins that you have. But so today we'll be talking about passwords, the internet, what encryption is, some topics specific to email, topics specific to mobile devices, and security at home. So that's what we'll be going through here. So the first topic here is passwords. And people always kind of look at me when we would do these tech talks in person with just sort of a tired look, because passwords are hard. We need so many passwords, and it's hard to have a unique password for everything. So what are you supposed to do? But quite honestly, a really good step to increasing your online security is to have strong, unique passwords for different logins. Passwords are like locks on your doors, your front door. You wouldn't want to have the same key for every lock in your life. So you wouldn't want to have the same password for your email and your bank and your retirement accounts. It's decreasing your online security. So strong, unique passwords for those different logins is a great first step. So this is just a bit of a joke that you could say that passwords are like, you know, diary keys. They are very easy to break into. So just a little joke here. So one method that you can use to come up with unique passwords that may help you remember a password, and I've actually used this, is to think of a sentence. And so this sentence here, this method is called the Shiner method, but this sentence here is, I have 6 granddaughters and 4 grandsons, exclamation mark. So with that sentence in mind, you, I'll back up there, you can see the original sentence. You are taking just the first letter and numbers from it as well as the exclamation mark. And you can see here you get the password IH6GD ampersand 4GS exclamation mark. Keep in mind too that this password is strong because it's very random. Other things that make this password strong are that it has capital and lowercase letters. There's no words in the English dictionary in this password. It does have special characters as well, ampersand and exclamation mark. This password is also fairly long, and you may be thinking, or maybe you've already figured out, well, this is just this random password. I am never going to remember this. But until you do memorize this, which I end up memorizing these random passwords, you can go back to that sentence, I have 6 granddaughters and 4 grandsons, exclamation mark. So you can, remember it. Oh, right, I took the first letter and the numbers and the special characters from that sentence, and this is my password. So that's one method. Think of a sentence and go ahead and take the first letter from each word, any of the numbers, special characters, and you get a really random password that's pretty darn secure. Another thing you could do is you could just use that sentence. Some people don't know you can have spaces in passwords. So you could have the password, I have 6 granddaughters and 4 grandsons, exclamation mark. Now this one's a little long, but I'm pretty sure it would be permitted because longer is safer. And so this would be another good password, just to have the sentence with spaces. So a couple ideas there for creating unique passwords that are, give you some tools to remember them. All right. There is kind of a fun tool online as well called How Secure Is My Password? And you can go ahead and type in your password and it will tell you honestly how strong a password you have created is. Now, if your password is something like Indians 123 because of your love of the Browns, love of the Indians, the Cleveland Indians, I'm pretty sure it's going to tell you that's a very weak password. And it's weak because it is a word in the English dictionary, and then you've got, you have numbers, but they're 1, 2, 3, which is very easy to guess. Going back to, Indians 1, 2, 3, this goes into you don't really want to include publicly available information in passwords. Like if you're a big Cleveland sports fan and that's all over your social media, well, that might be something someone tries because this is what people do. They, use sports teams or pets' names or children's names or birth years or even addresses as passwords. So before you create a password, think, is this really like obvious or easy to guess? And often, that public information or easy to guess information doesn't belong as a password. So this password, whatever that was pretty hard to crack. All right. So the other thing that you can do is that you can use password managers. Password managers can be useful, and we list just a couple of them here. And the two that we list are LastPass and 1Password. Both of these services also have smartphone apps which allow you to carry your passwords with you. And what a password manager is it assists you in generating passwords and then storing complex passwords. So you can access any of your passwords by unlocking just the password manager's vault. And that vault has one strong password. So you have one strong password that you remember, and it opens up a vault that contains passwords for many, many other accounts. So the benefit of using a password manager is that you don't have to remember many, many passwords. You have to instead store your passwords in the password manager vault and then only remember one strong password to access that vault. So this is a good, secure option. It may be your solution for managing, your life full of passwords. So yeah, consider LastPass or 1Password. And if you just look those up either on your computer or in the App Store on your mobile device, you will find those. Another thing that you can do to increase security on your, just your logins, like let's say an email account, is that two-factor authentication. So it means that you have an extra layer of security when you enable two-factor authentication. It's usually not by default. Google may push you a little bit to make it by default, but usually not by default. But it requires you to have, basically 2 layers of security. So it requires you something you know, which is your password, and something you have, like your cell phone, where you can receive a text message. So you will put in your password, and then you're not into your account yet. The next step is usually it will send you a text message with a one-time use code. And once you receive that code, you enter it in and it lets you into your account. So two-factor authentication, you have to enter 2 pieces of information. One is something you know, which is your password, and the second thing is a one-time use code that you receive by text message on your phone. So that's another thing to consider, enabling two-factor authentication. Well, here's a really, really simple one that maybe gets overlooked sometimes, but it's easy and you just have to remember to do it. So with this, you just sign out. Often our behavior is to, when we're on the internet, is just to go up to the browser and click the X in the upper right corner, and that closes the browser program like Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. And you think, all right, I'm all done. That's probably okay, and you'll get away with that on your home computer, depending on if you're the only user or, who's in your home or whatever. But especially if you're on a public computer, don't just X out of your browser. Make sure you sign out of that email account or that bank account or any other account, Facebook account, because it may not automatically log out. So you've closed your browser program, but you haven't actually logged out of that account, which means the next person who gets on that public computer could have access to your email account or your social media account. And, so that puts you at risk. So if you do nothing else after this, get in the habit of just signing out of your accounts. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the internet here. I think this is timely anytime, but we have some big things going on in the world right now and within our country, and it is important to remember that just because information is online doesn't mean necessarily that it's true. Just like any information that we receive, we have to be good detectives. So we have to take that information, look at it in front of us and say, do I think this is good information? Do I think this is true information? So analyzing the information in front of you. And this could be a news article online. This could be a little meme or a graphic that you're seeing on social media. It could be a video on social media. It could be anything. So any type of information you're seeing online, you want to think about who created it. If you're on a website, you can generally look for an About Us link that can tell you who created the website. If you're on the IRS website, you want to make sure that you are on the website that was created by the IRS, as an example. If you're looking at something on, the internet, just social media, like maybe a meme or a video, I would maybe consider looking at Snopes just to look up that idea and whether that's been proven as true or false, or kind of somewhere in the middle. Some of it's true, some of it's not. So first thing is who created it, and then if it's a website, when was the website last updated? Usually on articles of, especially information websites like the IRS, you will see when an article was published or updated. Why was the website created? So thinking about the intentions behind the website. So going back to the IRS, why was it created? Well, if it's irs.gov and you've confirmed it was published by, created and published by the IRS, it was created to provide, valid, true information about taxes to American citizens. If you're not finding those sorts of things, if it looks like it's just created by someone who is interested in taxes, it may be good information, but you may want to, take a bit more caution there and think about the reasoning or if there's any underlying motivations there. And the last one is, what's the purpose of the website? What does it say? And you are kind of feeling out any bias there. So next thing I will talk about quickly is encryption. And encryption is actually happening on websites in the background a lot more than you may realize. And that's a good thing because it's protecting your privacy. So we'll talk about encryption here. Went too far. So what encryption is when you are on a website, like I'll use the example of your bank. You are on your bank website, you have to fill in some private information that's containing your name, your social security number, everything like that. Well, banks have, set up a lot of infrastructure to encrypt your information so it protects it when it's in transit. So in this picture here, where it says hello, imagine you're typing in your name and social security number. Once you hit submit, so the information is sent to your bank, encryption scrambles that information in transit. So it is, your personal information is scrambled, so if someone were to intercept it, it would not be understandable information. Then on the other end with your bank, they are able to, with a password, log in, the employee logs into the account, and they are seeing unencrypted information. The keys in both of this, your key and then the key on maybe your bank side, is that you have strong passwords. So encryption is scrambling information when it's in transit and protecting your private information. Another thing too that you can take a look at after this tech talk is the HTTPS. If you go on to the internet and you look up in the browser bar at the top of your window, you will likely see HTTPS, and the S stands for secure, and that means that you are on a website that is providing encryption. So for sure, like any bank website you go on, it'll say HTTPS. Try Key, try Fifth Third, try Dollar Bank, they will all have that encryption. It's important other places too to have encrypted sites. More and more, like I would say, don't buy something online unless it's through an encrypted site, because you are giving your credit card information and other sensitive information. But this is something to look out for that a lot of sites do have this added layer of security with the HTTPS, which means that the site is encrypted. So another great place for scammers to find people and unfortunately get information and sometimes scam people is through email. So I'll talk about a few things here of what you should be on the lookout for email and ways to prevent falling victim of a scam or things like that. So in email, we receive a lot of junk mail. Modern email systems, the good thing is most of that goes to your junk folder. And really, unless you're missing an email or something like that, you can just ignore that junk folder because it's full of just scam and phishing emails. And phishing are emails that are phishing for your information. So they're asking, oh, can you send us, information about you? So you can ignore the junk folder. That stuff gets deleted automatically, but know that it's there. It's full of scam messages. If you do get a spam message that is in your inbox and you see it's a spam message, in any email system, you will have a way to report the spam. This is a Gmail screenshot here, and for this, you would click report spam, and you're basically teaching your email system, okay, someone from this sender, this was spam, it won't show up in the inbox again. So it's important to mark those emails as spam. Here is an example of a spam message. I went into a spam folder and found this email, and this is just a few kind of hallmarks to look out for if you're not sure if something is suspicious. So the first thing up at the top here is the sender has a suspicious sender email address. So supposedly this email is from Amazon for Amazon Prime. But if you look at that email address, Amazon, the O looks like a 0, and then if you look at the actual email address, it says Kaylee@flower aces.win. That's not an Amazon email address at all. So that's suspicious. The company logo does look legitimate here, but be careful. It's very easy to just copy or steal a logo. That doesn't take any expertise or, effort at this point. The email does not address a person by name. It just says Amazon.com Prime to open the email, so that's strange too. As I already mentioned, Amazon throughout this email, the O is using a number 0, so that's fishy as well. This email also contains a warning that suggests urgency. So this one is saying, oh, this link expires on 4/3/16, so don't wait. They want you to click on the link in the email, and don't click on the link. That just spells trouble. So this one should be marked as spam, and just don't do anything with this email. But this is a few things to look out for. All right, so talking about mobile devices here, a few things you can do on mobile devices to keep yourself safe. The first is, if you don't have a passcode set up, go ahead and set one up. You can go into the settings on your device and you can enable a passcode. Generally, this will be 4 or 6 numbers of your choosing. So this means when you unlock your phone, it requires a passcode to get into your phone. So that's an extra layer of security. This would be a passcode unique to you and would prevent people from very easily just, finding your phone somewhere and being able to open it and access everything on it. So this is a great first layer of security. Again, don't make it painfully obvious. Your passcode should not be 1 2 3 4 5 6 or 3 4 5 6. Just something very easily guessable. But passcode, that's a good step to take. Another thing as well is just on your mobile phone, update your apps. So this is a example of the Apple App Store, and it has that number 1 there. The 1 is indicating that there is an app on your device that needs to be updated. So run those updates, because those updates very often contain security updates. So that's another way you can keep things safe on a mobile device. The other thing too is you don't have to use the messaging app that comes just on your phone automatically. One good messaging app that provides encryption protection and is free to download is called Signal. So this is the logo for Signal. If you do want to have messages encrypted and more private, Signal is a good option to try. So some ideas for security at home. The first one is have an antivirus software on your computer. So if you're using a laptop or a computer, have antivirus software on your device and active to prevent, detect, and remove malware, which is malicious software on your device. There's a bunch of them out there, but some of them are, we're giving the example here of Bitdefender, Avast, Avira, and AVG. So those are some big names, but have antivirus software installed and active on your computers and laptops. Another one is the browser you use. Some browsers are more secure than others. Google Chrome is the best browser pick for security. So Chrome is one option. Another one is Tor browser. And this is very, very secure. Basically, your web traffic is routed through other computers, often in other countries, so your physical location is hidden. So that is called Tor browser. I would say less people use Tor browser than Chrome. Chrome, if you're currently using another browser, Chrome is a good step to stick to, but these are both options that you have. These are a few browser extensions that you could put onto your computer for additional security. They will give you additional security features on your browser. One is called Privacy Badger. Another one is uBlock Origin. That's a really good ad blocker. And HTTPS Everywhere. It forces websites to use HTTPS if the option is available. Privacy Badger, that blocks cookies, tracking cookies. So these are a few extensions you could add to your Google Chrome browser. I'll go over this very quickly since we already talked about password managers. Password managers will work on your mobile devices through an app or on your computer. The two we already talked about, I'm just listing them again here, are LastPass and 1Pass. Or 1Password, sorry. And the last thing you can do is run updates on your computer. These days if you have a Windows 10 computer, Windows 10 is prompting you to run those updates. Some people are hesitant to run them. I say run them. They're adding security updates all the time. And these are important to keep up with. They are a step you can take to protect your computer. So that is the last thing I have here. I am going to look to see if I can get into if there's been any comments. And I'm sorry I haven't been paying attention to it, but it is a little bit hard to access through Facebook for me to see those comments, so I've just been presenting here, but I am trying to get to those comments now so I can see if anyone has been discussing anything. So I'm sorry if I did miss a comment, but I will try to. All right, well, I can see that Anne has been posting some questions here for everyone. So if you don't see this live, if you see it once it's been recorded, either on Facebook or on YouTube, these are some good questions to think about. Things like, has anyone ever used a password manager before? Would you want to use one? Maybe learning a bit more about that, or checking out if you've ever seen encrypted websites, or have you ever received a fishy email? If you have any questions for us, please feel free to contact us tech trainers at the library. We're always happy to help. And really, we are here now. The library is open on a more limited basis, but staff is in the building throughout the week, so you can always call our buildings, and tech trainers are here to answer questions or discuss topics with you. Next week, we do have an Appy Hour program where we will be talking about apps. Next week, I think, is free movies from the library, so that's a fun one that Anne will be presenting. So we are going back and forth between Tech Talks and Appy Hours. Another thing is, if you ever have an idea for an Appy Hour topic or a Tech Talk, let us know, and we'd be happy to develop something that's of interest to you. So anyways, I will sign off here since I'm not seeing any questions. And thank you today for tuning in, and have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.